Hi yogis, and welcome to this flexibility and strength flow yoga class. We're going to begin today in Child's Pose. So when you're ready, come to hands and knees and bring your knees out as wide as what feels comfortable for you today. They may be very close together or maybe out to the edges of your mat. Bring your arms out long. Settle your hips back to your heels and bring your forehead down to the mat. Just take a moment to arrive here in your child's pose. Breathing in and out through the nose. Option here to take a tricep stretch as well, bringing your palms together, bending at the elbows, and bringing your thumbs to the nape of your neck. Whichever variation of the pose you're taking today, go ahead and take a long, deep inhale through the nose. And exhale. Again, long deep inhale through the nose. And exhale. A reminder that yoga is not only for the flexible, it's a practice to help increase your flexibility regardless of where you are at today. Improving your flexibility can lead to less muscle tension and therefore less pain, lowered stress levels, improved circulation, improved posture and range of motion, and it decreases your risk for injury. Many of the poses we'll be doing today invite a gentle stretch through many different areas of the body, but as always, I ask you to really listen in to what feels good in your body today. Remember, sensation is good, but pain is bad. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. Release your hands if you were taking the tricep stretch and begin to come up to seated. From here, bring your knees together and tuck through your toes to sit back onto your heels for a deep toe stretch. Inhale your hands up to the sky, and exhale, release them back down. Once more, inhale your hands up to the sky, and exhale, release your hands back down. Go ahead and release your toes. Come to tabletop or all fours pose, and maybe go ahead and tap your toes on the mat just to release that last pose. From here, we'll come into 2 rounds of cat-cow to start stretching out through the spine. On your next inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, look up, shine your chest through. And exhale, begin to tuck your chin to your chest, really rounding into your back. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, and exhale, round in. Come back to a neutral tabletop pose. Walk your hands just a bit forward, tuck through the toes. Begin to push into your feet and hands to come up into your first downward facing dog. Hips lift to the sky. Maybe you walk your dog out, bending through one heel and then the other. From here, find some stillness in your down dog. And bring your right foot forward between your hands, lowering your left knee to the mat, setting up for a low lunge. Maybe scooting your left knee back just a bit, ensuring the right knee is stacked above the right ankle. Inhale, arms lift, hands to the sky. And exhale, release your left hand next to your front foot and open up to an easy twist, right hand to the sky. Inhale back to center, both hands framing your front foot. Begin to walk your hands back in line with your right knee, straightening through the right leg for half splits. A deep hamstring stretch here. Walk your hands back forward to frame your front foot. Push into your front foot and come up into high lunge. Left knee lifts. Bring your hands to the sky, and from here let's open up into a twist. Right hand back, left hand forward. Inhale, come back to center. Go ahead and windmill your hands down and step back into plank pose. Exhaling, lowering all the way down to our bellies, elbows tucked in close to our ribs. When you arrive, keep your hands under your shoulders, really press into the tops of your feet. Using your back strength on your next inhale, lift your head, chest, and maybe your hands off the mat for Cobra Pose. Exhale, release. This time, bring your hands to your tailbone interlaced. And on your next inhale, lift your head and chest again, lifting your hands away from your tailbone. And release. Return your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, and begin to push up and back into downward facing dog. Let's set up for that sequence on the other side. This time bringing your left foot forward between your hands and lowering your right knee, setting up for low lunge. Go ahead and inhale, arms lift, hands to the sky. And exhale, release your right hand next to your front foot and open up into an easy twist, left hand to the sky. Come back to center, framing your front foot. Begin to walk your hands back in line with your left knee, straightening through that left leg for half splits on this side. Begin to walk your hands back forward, pushing into your front foot. Come up into high lunge. Right knee lifts. Hands to the sky, and let's open up into the twist on this side. Right hand forward, left hand back. Come back to center, windmill your hands down yet again. Stepping back into plank pose. Lowering all the way down, keeping our elbows tucked in. When you arrive on your belly, bring your hands along your sides, palms face down, setting up for full locus pose here. Inhale, begin to lift your head, your chest, your hands, and maybe even your feet off the ground. If that feels okay in your lower back, holding here. And exhale, release. From here, yogis, you have the option to do that locus pose again, or try out floor bow. Bending into the knees, reach back and see if you can grab the inside edge of your feet. You can stay here feeling that nice quad stretch, or to come into full bow pose, begin to push your feet into your hands, lifting your knees off the mat, and use this force to also lift your head and chest off the mat. Be sure to keep your knees drawing in toward one another. Holding here, breathing, and exhale, release. Wherever you are, bring your hands back under your shoulders and push up through plank pose back to downward facing dog. Perhaps pedaling it out here once more. Coming to stillness in your down dog, bring your right foot forward again, setting up for high lunge, arms lifting to the sky. Opening up into our twist, right hand back, left hand forward. Release back to center. Now spin your back heel down, opening up into Warrior Two. Arms out wide, deep bend through the front knee, really stretching through the inner thigh and chest here. Inhale, reverse your warrior, right hand to the sky, left hand can rest on the back of your left thigh. Inhale back to Warrior Two. From here we'll come into side angle pose, bending through our right elbow and bringing it to rest on the top of our right thigh, left hand up and overhead, bicep by the ear. Inhale back up to Warrior Two. Hands to hips and straighten through both legs. Pivot both feet toward the front of the mat again. This time, walk your back foot in maybe a bit so you have a shorter stance here. We're setting up for pyramid pose, which is a deep forward fold that stretches both the hips and hamstrings. Your back foot can be turned out just a bit, heel down. Square your hips toward the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, hinging at the hips, begin to forward fold toward your right thigh. Keeping your collarbones broad, release your forehead toward your shin, and release your hands anywhere that is comfortable and you feel supported. Perhaps your fingertips to the mat. Inhale back up and step both feet to the top of the mat to meet. Inhale your hands to the sky and exhale all the way down, forward fold. From here, step your right foot back this time. Keep lifted the right knee, setting up for high lunge on the other side. Left foot stacked over left ankle. Inhale, hands to the sky. And exhale, opening up into our twist. Left hand back, right hand forward. Release back to center. Spinning your back heel down, setting up for Warrior Two on this side. Arms out wide, deep bend through your front knee. Inhale to reverse your warrior, left hand to the sky, right hand on the back of your right thigh. And inhale back to Warrior Two. Begin to bend through your left elbow, side angle pose, bringing it to rest on your left thigh, right hand up and overhead, bicep by the ear. Inhale back to Warrior Two. Hands to hips and begin to straighten through both legs, setting up for pyramid pose on this side. Pivot both feet toward the front of the mat again. Walking your back foot in for a shorter stance. Heels down, squaring your hips toward the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, hinge at your hips. Begin to fold forward toward your left thigh. Keeping your shoulders drawing away from your ears. Release your forehead toward your shin and release your hands, perhaps fingertips to the mat. Begin to put a deep bend into your front knee. Go ahead and frame your front foot and step back where we'll meet in plank pose from here. Holding here in your strong plank pose for just a couple breaths. Really fire up through your quads and through your core to support you here. Exhale, release your knees down, coming into tabletop pose. From here, we'll come into a great hip and shoulder release. Cow face pose with eagle arms. So from tabletop pose, bring your right knee forward and toward the midline. Cross your left knee directly behind your right knee. And bring your feet out toward the sides so you can have space to settle your hips back between your feet. Your right knee should end up being stacked on top of the left. There can be quite a space between the knees, that is normal, and you can always put a block or pillow here if it's needed. Notice where you feel the stretch in your hips. For eagle arms, extend both arms straight out in front of you. Cross your left elbow over your right. Bending at the elbows now, so the backs of your hands are touching right in front of your face. You can also see if you can double wrap here by bringing your palms to touch. But if none of this fancy stuff works for you, you can also just keep your hands at your sides, or begin to walk them forward for a deeper hip stretch. If you have eagle arms, lift your elbows up and away from you, and an option here to fold forward. Great job, yogis. Come back up. If you were forward folded, release your hands and release your right leg long out in front of you, sole of your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Let's take a nice spinal twist here before forward folding. Inhale both hands to the sky. Exhale your right hand to your left knee, and the left hand will plant behind you. Looking over our left shoulder. Inhale both hands back to the sky, centering your torso over your right leg. Exhale, go ahead and forward fold. Hands can come to your leg, shin, maybe your right foot. Breathe here. Inhale, back up. Bring your right foot in, cross at the ankles, and come forward into tabletop pose. We'll set up for cow face pose on the other side. So this time we'll bring our left knee forward and toward the middle, crossing our right knee directly behind our left knee, bringing our feet out toward the sides, and settling our hips back between our feet. This time your left knee should be stacked on top of your right. Take the variation you did on the other side. If you chose eagle arms, this time extend your arms out straight in front of you and cross your right elbow over your left. Bending at the elbows now. Double wrapping if that is in your practice. Lifting your elbows up and away from you. Inhaling. An option to exhale, forward fold. Where do you feel the hip stretch on this side? Is it different? Inhale back up to center, releasing your hands, and release your left leg long out in front of you. This time sole of the right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Let's take that spinal twist. Inhaling both hands to the sky. Exhale your left hand to your right knee. Right hand plants behind you, looking over your right shoulder. Inhaling both hands back to the sky, centering your torso over your extended leg. Exhale, go ahead and forward fold over your left leg. Hands coming to wherever feels comfortable for you today. Inhale, slowly make your way back up. From here, extend both legs long on the mat and we'll meet lying all the way down on our backs. When you arrive, begin to draw your knees into your chest. Maybe rock back and forth side to side. Perhaps you bring your knees out a bit wider to feel a slightly deeper stretch into the hips. Maybe reach down between your thighs and grab your big toes with your 2 peace fingers, drawing one foot in at a time. Maybe straightening both feet up and overhead. Just find what feels good for you here. Releasing your toes, bringing your arms out wide, maybe cactusing them out from your shoulders, really taking up space, elbows wide, opening through the chest. Soles of the feet come together, knees fall out wide toward the edges of the mat, Supta Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose. Perhaps this is your final resting pose for today. Always feel free to come into traditional Shavasana as well. Wherever you are at, we are going to end class today with a deep inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Once more, yogis, deep inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Perhaps scanning the body and noticing how you feel now versus how you felt at the beginning of class. Notice any new areas of space or decreased tension. This is where I will leave you here today, yogis. Feel free to stay here for as long as your day allows. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be well. Namaste.